Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Game Week 10 episode of Three Teams in a Pod. My name is Chad, and I'm joined by my co hosts, Jonnas and Jaydin. How are you guys doing?
Good. Had a very good game week. So very excited, very happy. Unfortunately, the game of Spurs didn't go according to plan, but I'm sure you guys feel the same with your team. Other than that, happy to be back.
Yeah,
Yourself,
nothing from
Jaydin?
my side. Horrible game week. Everything went wrong. United lost 200k red arrow. Yeah, let's just move on. Cause I'm gonna go on to the next game week. I'm ready to move on. Yeah.
I know from my side as well. Massive. Good green arrow. Happy with the green arrow after a horrible Sunday with Haaland scoring 23 points and myself being on Madison captain. But yeah, happy with the green arrow. Looking forward to game week 10. Should be a good one. Yeah, let's just kick straight into the game week review.
That rank
So,
looks nice though, eh?
yeah, 4 digits, you can't complain much.
Yeah.
I'm sure Jonas is up with his rank as well. I can see that massive smile on his face.
Yeah, I'm very happy. It's been a good few weeks after a steady and slow start. Finally getting to build up a few game weeks in a row where things are going together. So yeah, I can't complain about it this game week. First 100 score of the season, 100 club. So very happy with that. Obviously, there's a few standout performers in my team. I don't think it's really even valid to mention Haaland, um, unless if you didn't captain him, like the two of you. But I'll take my 46 points. Very happy with that. And then obviously, I think the big swing vote of my game week was having Foden in my team. Um, I don't think it happens a lot that you have two players from the same team and they both score hat tricks. So that was definitely a first for me in FPL where I've got two players for the same team getting hat tricks. So very happy. But look, just more or less, it's about 65 points. Foden and Haaland together gave me 65 points this game week, which is
Yeah.
more than enough. So yeah, looking forward. My team is set up quite well. Unfortunately, the Mitro injury not too great, but not stressed at all. I rode last week, so do have the two free chances available this week to attack and possibly prepare for the blank in game week 12.
Jonas said so casually, like besides the 46 pointer from Haaland, Foden also did well. So okay, like what? Dude, 46 points, but Foden was one of the biggest rank. No, okay. Could never be me.
No, I think like
No,
it's just like we've come to realize that Haaland is just an animal. What he does week in week out is like it doesn't. It's surprising, but I don't think it surprises us as much as we were surprised in the beginning of the season. Like I've seen like on
Yeah.
Twitter, there's some people that don't even have Haaland in their team, and I'm like, I don't know how you do FPL like that. Um,
yeah, I
but yeah,
learned my
no,
lesson game week one. Game week one, I learned my lesson, and I'm glad it happened straight off. I had Kane instead of Haaland. I managed to get Haaland in before his price rise that first night after that first game against West Ham. So I think the one thing people are chasing is like for the odd chance that Haaland blanks, and they've got a captain that does well, and they pretty much overtake or score on the entire game. Um, let's say Haaland is 80% owned, so you score on 8 million people pretty much if that happens. But it's a big risk to take, and I'm sure there will be game weeks this season where Haaland will blank and he will be the majority captain. I think it's just a matter of when it does happen, and if you want to be too risky, if you want to be the risky guy that actually goes for that odd chance to get that gains.
Yeah.
yeah, I think with me that was kind of my thinking this game week as well. Like I didn't expect Haaland to do what he did. Like you're not going to say that City's going to score six against United in a Manchester derby that in the previous few years has been very much up and down, even United dominating it on most occasions. So that's why I kind of went the Madison captaincy. Madison also averaged like I think it was over 11 points per game week against newly promoted sides. So like I think like you said, if you want to make ground because of how highly owned Haaland is, I think it's mainly through your captaincy, having a different captain, and then hoping that Haaland sort of blanks in that game week that you go against him. But I think that's, I mean, this is my second game week in a row that I went against Ireland. The first one went well because Kane outscored him, but the second one, obviously, Madison outscored him by, I mean, Ireland outscored Madison by 5 points. But it's not a brave decision. I mean, it is a brave decision. Like it's not something that you easily do, and I don't think,
Yeah,
considering how I felt on Sunday after a 23 pointer, I don't think I'll do it again. But I'm very, very
Yeah.
reluctant
just
to
to
do it.
add just to add to that, Chad actually messaged me before each of those games. He said to me like he dreamt Haaland scored a hat trick, and that happened. And then just before the Leicester game, he was joking and he said pretty much said he thinks Madison is going to score a brace and get an assist, and that's exactly what happened. So I think
Chad's
if
on
Chad
form, man.
continues, if Chad continues with his predictions, hopefully he can speak a few assists and goals into our teams in the coming game weeks.
I think my next dream is going to be that United wins the league this season, but that's very unlikely.
Yeah, that's pushing it a bit, but yeah.
There's a small chance, very small chance.
I think, yeah, with my team, Foden as well being basically the differential and getting me the green arrow. Otherwise, team is pretty much template. I think the only other player that I have in here that's not template is Perisic, who is pretty much on his way out of my team in game week 10, but we'll sort of get to that later. Yeah, and then Mitro getting a blank, coming off injured. Kane with a goal, and then a clean sheet for Trippier, who got subbed before Newcastle scored. So that was a nice plus, especially considering he got a bonus as well. But the rest of the team pretty standard, nothing to really talk about. Jaydin, you
So
you
do
walk
I.
out it in you walk out it in game week 9. Salah captaincy 74 points. Tell us how you're feeling.
The highest score of the game week, 74 points on a wild card. Yeah. And the thing that made me the happiest about my wild card was a Ward 8 pointer. Literally, that's how bad it went, even though you got happy for 8 pointer from Ward. But yeah, man, I went against Haaland captaincy. And yeah, I was punished. Oh my word, I was brutally punished actually. And Salah with 10 points, very disappointing. And yeah, my punts didn't work. I think everything that could have gone wrong on my wild card went wrong. But I'm glad I took a couple of lessons from this game week. Especially how good Ireland is and what an animal he is. And yeah, man, I'm looking forward to the next couple of game weeks. I have some ground to catch up on. But yeah, onwards we go. And I'm glad I would got that 8 pointer. Because you guys don't have him.
That was
Yeah,
my
no,
biggest wish, actually. Like, I was just that Monday morning, I woke up. I'm like, I don't care about Madison. I just want Everson to start, and I was wishing for it the entire day. And yeah, at the end of the day, I must say Ward actually had his best game. He made a few good saves, like by far his
for,
best game of the season.
for his standard, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, for his standard,
for
but I
his
think he,
standard.
he had a few. He made a few legit stops, saves
Yeah,
that could have been goal scoring opportunities.
yeah,
And but then again, Leicester were very lucky not to concede.
yeah,
Forest had a few good chances. They hit the post. I won't back Leicester to keep a lot of clean sheets even after this one against Forest. But I think that it's definitely a team to keep an eye on, especially if they get going. I
yeah.
don't know what you think about it, Jaden. With currently having three Leicester assets, I'm pretty sure you're happy with at least, let's say, one and a
To
half. Madison and Ward you'll probably keep as your bench goalkeeper, but I'm pretty
yeah.
sure you're thinking of Tielemans, moving him within the team or even out.
Yeah. The thing is, I'm not really sure like what we can get from that match because it's either like was Leicester really that good or was Forest just that poor. So you know what I mean. So I think you have to monitor it more in the couple of game weeks. But I think Forest were just bad, just conceding shots left, right, and center. And yeah, I think even so, even though Forest wasn't even that great in attack, Leicester's defense also wasn't looking that great. There was a chance where they hit the post, and there was this second chance they had when someone went through on goal, and the word came out, but then he stopped, and then they
Stopped,
hit
yeah.
him. Yeah, and then that could easily be another goal. You know what I mean. So yeah, I don't think that told us much. Besides that, both teams are defensively very weak.
Yeah, I think even like
Yeah,
even though they kept the clean sheet, I think they still had an XGC of like 1.35.
exactly.
This being Leicester, so they're still definitely a leaky defense. But I mean, I watched the whole game because obviously I had a close eye on Madison.
Yeah,
And yeah, I mean, from a Ward point of view, he did make some good saves, like Jonah said. He did seem to have a better command of his area. Like he looked a bit more confident after the international break. But Leicester as a defensive unit still don't look confident.
yeah,
Like I wouldn't bank on them for clean sheet.
yeah,
I know they have Bournemouth next who are struggling in attack, and I think for a lot of managers there's sort of the dilemma of game week 8 wildcarders, for example. Do you if you have Ward, do you start Pope or do you start Ward? And for game week 9, it's like do you start Gate or do you start Ward? So there will be that sort of dilemma. But I wouldn't. I still would say like Leicester's game start 1-0 down to the or 1-0, sorry, because they're so attacking and they're also so defensively weak.
yeah.
But yeah, in attack, I think Leicester look good. They seem to be clicking. I think the only area for concern is the the striker. Vardy had some good opportunities and he just didn't convert it. And then Forrest still looked a bit very sus defensively. Yeah, that was sort of a rough analysis on that game. Cool. I think we're gonna move on now. Just basically take a pause and sit and kind of look at where we are in terms of the game and what we should be looking out for in the next game weeks. So on the screen we have the fixture ticker according to the FPL website. So just a reminder for everyone that game week 16 is the last game week before the World Cup, and then FPL will be on a break for about a month. In which in game week 17 everyone will have unlimited transfers. So we're basically playing a 7 game week game, where we basically have 7 game weeks until the World Cup. So you should sort of kind of be concentrating on this and not looking any further because you have the opportunities to basically um, like change your whole team. So if you guys have a look at this fixture ticker, what stands out for you guys from here? Who do you think are teams that we should be targeting? I know that in Game Week 12 there's a blank for Arsenal and a blank for City as well. So even though City have just scored 6 goals past United, and they have Southampton next in Game Week 10, who will potentially be without the manager. There's rumors going around that Hazenuto will be sacked quite soon. So a lot of players will be looking at bringing in City assets, maybe Foden even, but obviously there's a blanking game at 12. So having looked at this, who do you guys think are teams that we should target in the next couple of game weeks?
I think for me personally, let's keep the bigger teams out of the discussion for now, because I'm pretty sure we already set on our players from Liverpool and City, Arsenal, Spurs, Chelsea. I think let's look at the other teams because we most of us might have a few players from these teams, and the three teams that stand out to me is Bournemouth, Crystal Palace, and Leicester. To a lesser extent, West Ham as well. West Ham have two tougher fixtures in Liverpool in game week 12 and Man United in game week 14. But other than that, I think if I had to select two, it would be Crystal Palace and Leicester. And it's quite evident with the picks being made recently that Leicester, you see Madison and Ward or Everson in almost every team. You see Guaita, Margay, and Zaha in almost every team, or they are in the plans for those teams. So I think like now's time to be attacking. I think a lot of people say now you need to don't lose ground, but it's a perfect time to get yourself up there, climb up the ranks before the World Cup, and then you can take it easy from the start of the World Cup and be a bit more defensive minded and a bit more long term. Because as you just mentioned, we have a reset button in 7 game weeks, so it's
Yeah.
take a few risks here and there. That's my philosophy when I look at the game. I'm already thinking, where can I take a few risks, even if it's for 2, 3 game weeks, because they're not mainstays. They're going to be out of my team pretty much definitely after game week 16. Yeah, that's my summary on who I think you should target. I think as a Spurs fan, I still think we have very tough fixtures. We've not really had the best fixtures. I think if you look game week 1 to 16, in terms of the fixture ticker, Spurs are like last or second last. We're playing, I think, 5 of the last season's top 6 in the first 16 games, or something like that, or first 12 games, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah.
Yeah. From my side, I also think yeah, Bournemouth has a decent fixture run, but it's Bournemouth, so I don't really think there's much people to target there besides maybe Solanke if you want to go there. But my feelings towards him is not strong, so I wouldn't really recommend going there. But I mean, if you're looking for a bench option that can come in maybe for one of the for game week 12 blank, then maybe you can get him here. But I like the Palace fixtures. It's really good up until the end of the season, up until game week 16, until before the World Cup. So players like Zaha, maybe Eze, maybe a defender, I think you can hold them now right up until game week 16. And then with regards to Leicester, Leicester also had a good couple of fixtures coming up now. Bournemouth away, Palace at home, Leeds at home, and then Wolves away. I think they could get a couple of attacking returns there. A couple of games for me that screams goals. And I like the fact that the Leicester fixture turn after game week 13. So the 14, 15, and 16 doesn't look that great, but it kind of coincides with a good fixture run for teams like Arsenal. So you could easily switch from someone like a Madison to a Saka or um, a Martinelli come game week 13. Yeah, so I think that I like the look of that. And then yeah, I think the only reason why City them is so the reason why City is so at the bottom is because they're playing game week 12 and they play Liverpool. But what like we've seen from Liverpool right now is that their defense is still very leaky and City can score goals, man. I mean, they scored 6 against United, so I still think City players are a good team to get right now.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
the ticker
sorry,
is
Chad.
yeah, you can go, Jonas.
Just one thing, just to add on to what Jaden said. I think one thing that I would, if I could recommend anyone, is like pretty much everyone has to have 3 City players from game week 14 till 16, because you've got Leicester away, you've got Fulham at home, and Brentford at home. That could easily be between 12 and 15 goals for City in those last three fixtures before the World Cup. So I think just keep that in mind when you do start pre-planning for game week 12 blank. Is that you pretty surely gonna want to have 3 City players back into your team for the last three games before the World Cup.
Your
Yeah.
side, Chad, what do you think about the fixtures?
I think a lot of managers have a few tough decisions to make considering the game week 12 blank. For example, Arsenal, they blank in game week 12, but they have Leeds before it in game week 11 and Southampton in game week 13. I think considering how leaky Liverpool has been, Arsenal assets are definitely a hold, especially the attacking assets. Yeah, they can probably score in all three of those fixtures that I just mentioned. The same for City as well. So I think it's quite important to have a look at your team, see what your fixtures will look like in game week 12 and allow that to influence your moves for both game week 10 and game week 11. I would also advise if you can potentially in game week 11 try and roll a transfer so that you have 2 in game week 12 just in case there are any injuries after game week 11, that you have a transfer to sort of address those issues. Yeah, but like you said, with the Leicester fixtures changing up in game week 13 coincides nicely with the change in the Arsenal fixtures. And then for Bournemouth, they have the best fixtures in my opinion on paper. But like I said, there are not many assets to look at. Probably the only asset that we can speak about is Solanke, and he's pretty much a budget option, forward option, especially if you are looking to replace the likes of Mitrovic, who is potentially injured. We don't have any concrete news on him. He obviously picked up a bit of a niggle on the international duty, and then they kind of decided that they'd risk him for game week 9. So it'll be quite interesting to see whether or not he's fit for game week 10, and if he's not fit for game week 10, how long he's out for.
Just on
Yeah,
that, sorry. It's so
yeah,
weird, like how they played on Saturday, and then they played on Saturday, yeah, And this Wednesday, and still nothing came out about him. Like, something seemed a bit off for me. Because surely they should have been like, maybe training, I don't know, maybe training the Monday or Tuesday, and maybe like, could have got potentially news. But for me, it's kind of weird that so many days later there's still nothing concrete about Mitrovic. Because I was stalking that guy, I was stalking his Instagram. He posted nothing. I was checking pictures on Fulham's Twitter and the Instagram. No post about training, nothing. So for me, I don't know. It's kind of weird that they haven't updated us on that yet.
I mean,
I
most of
don't
the news sort of comes or breaks on a Thursday when press conferences start happening. I mean, he's
Yeah,
not like a marquee player where you have journalists covering his entire happening. So I
yeah,
guess we'll kind of hear from the manager in his press
yeah,
conference.
yeah,
Hopefully, he gives us an honest sort of feedback on the injury. I think if he's out for just game week 10, he's a hold in my opinion. Um, and if he's out for about 2 or 3 game weeks, then you can sort of start consider bringing in another player because game week 12 is also a midweek fixture, if I'm not mistaken. So obviously there's a reduction in the time frame in terms of an injury. Yeah, that's just my opinion on Mitro. Jonas, do you have anything to add on the potential Mitro injury?
Yeah, as you said, agree with you 100%. I think for me, it's one of two things. If it's out for 1 week, it's hold. If it's two or more, it's going to be sell. For me, it's not worth it to keep a 7 million. Let's call it 7 million asset and a forward spot that's on the bench and doing nothing. As I said, 7 weeks. I want to attack. I
yeah,
think. If you want to play safe, yes, keep him on the bench. But let's say he does miss those two fixtures of West Ham and Bournemouth, then you can always get him back into your team. Let's say maybe game week 13, where then he will have Leeds and Everton in 13 and 14.
Yeah.
So I will have a look. I've got two free chances this week. I probably won't take him out because I do have a feeling he's not starting this week and he'll be ready for game week 11. But if there's any evidence or any news that is out for game week 10 and game week 11, I'm pretty sure I'll take him out because he's possibly due a price drop tonight as well. Not 100% sure, but it looks like it might go down in price tonight, and if not tonight, tomorrow night.
Do you guys want to discuss potential replacements for him if he is out, or you want to just who do you guys go for? Just quickly, top three. Who do you guys go for if Mitrovic was confirmed for, let's say, 2 game weeks out?
For me, it would be Wilson. Uh, so Wilson,
That's
Well, Wilson, Welbeck, and Tony
Welbeck.
in that order. Yeah.
Ah, Welbeck's an interesting shot.
Do you want me to discuss it or do you want to hear Jonas's opinion?
Now let's keep it
No,
quick. Let's keep it quick.
yeah,
For me, I honestly think if I'm taking Mitra out, I'm taking him all the way down to a 4 point whatever, and I'm investing the money in the midfield. I think there's a lot of the midfielders are pulling through recently. There's 7 million, 6.5 million. There's Trossard, RB Barnes, people in that area that are starting to perform with good fixtures. So I think if I do take him out, I'll take him out straight down to a bench for the third on the bench. Um,
just on that, Jonas. Sorry to interrupt, but you have 3 City players. So if they're all blanking in 12, and I'm assuming you want them for 13 onwards, and you bench them, and you have a 4.3 forward, how do you kind of navigate that?
Yeah, I thought about it. I'm happy to play 10 players for one game week because let's say I do play my 12th player, which will be my bench player, or 13th player. I mean, I can't really expect much from the person. Like Nico Williams, for instance, he's been on everyone's bench for the entire season pretty much. Like he pulls up with his 1 pointer here and there. I'd rather just keep the City player there, play 10 players, and no, I don't have to spend another transfer on a City player the coming game week.
yeah.
Jaydin, your
Um,
side?
if you don't have Tony, I think Tony's still a decent shot. Then I'll go for Wilson. If Isak is fit, maybe you can go for Isak as well. And yeah, I think that's my top three.
The
and
only thing
Solanke
with
as a
Tony,
bench option.
yeah, the only thing with Tony and Wilson is that you'd need to have two transfers, or take it because, or you need money in the bank. Because I,
Yeah,
for instance, I don't have money in the bank, so I can't go from Mitro to Tony or Wilson. If I could,
yeah,
if I had 0.3 or zero point 0.4 in the bank, yes, definitely, then it would definitely be a
yeah,
shootout between Wilson and Tony. But if you don't have the funds, it's going to cost you two transfers or a hit or
yeah.
money in the bank, pretty much.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think I have some money in the bank, so I think I can afford going Mitro to Wilson. Sure, that's why you're smiling.
Mitro to Solanke, come on, man, do it for us.
No, 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 no.
Two for three teams in a pod, man.
Yeah, yeah, you can represent Solanke.
Yeah,
I'll also represent someone else, and Jaydin can get someone. But it's a good fit
No,
for the team.
I think hopefully this the injury is not serious. I think a lot of us have sort of, if you're on wildcard 8 or 9, you've basically planned out your transfers until game week 13 or 12. So I feel like
yeah,
this sort of derailed it. So hopefully the injury isn't too serious and puts him out for too long of a time. Because I'm sure some of us have other fires in our team that we want to put out, which we'll come to later.
like
Um,
Tillman.
like elements.
Yeah,
I told you I warned you against him, and you didn't want to listen to me last week.
I went for the stats, man. The stats looked okay. Well,
Analytics,
yeah.
Analytics FC, eh?
Yeah, I'm not, yeah. Let's move on. I'm done with Tillemans.
Yeah, I think on the note of analytics, we're just having a look at sort of the premium players in the team. So we've gone with Haaland, KDB, Salah, and Kane. Kane, you could probably put Son in there as well as a Spurs option. So
Mm.
I think pretty much everyone has Haaland in their team, or at least everyone that's a pretty serious FPL manager. So a lot of the discussion is sort of who do you go or who do you pick alongside him? For game week 9, wildcarders, it would have been Kane. For game week 8, Salah. For game week 8, wildcarders, it would have either been KDB or Kane. Um, and like considering the City blank, considering the tough Spurs fixtures, considering Liverpool's inconsistent form, like it's kind of now where we have to reach at a bit of an impasse and decide who we are pairing Haaland with. So on the screen, for those listening on the audio version, we have a table basically with those four premiums that we mentioned earlier and the uh, expected data as well as the actual data per 90 in the 8 or 7 games that they've played this season. So just a quick run through of it. Ireland tops the table with 1.2 expected
Goal involvement.
XGI non-pen. So goal involvement non-penalties per 90, 1.2. So basically he's getting expected to get 1.2 goals plus assists per 90, but his actual performance has been 2.18. So he's been overperforming his expected non-pen goal involvement. And then secondly, we have KDB on 0.76. That's mostly driven by an expected assist of 0.54. Then Salah with an expected non-pen goal involvement of 0.71, and then Kane with 0.68. So, guys, is there anything from this table that you see that stands out to you, that or maybe even surprises you?
Jaden, you can go ahead. Let me
Oh,
dissect this first. I'm a bit
okay.
surprised by a few things.
Okay, so firstly, what surprises me is just firstly how amazing or how what kind of a beast Haaland is. If you look at his non-penalty expected goal involvement, it's almost twice as much as Kane. And I think the similar price more or less. So Haaland is expected to get at least an additional goal or assist compared to Kane. So firstly, it shows me that Haaland is a must in your team regardless of what. Um, Secondly, it just shows the De Bruyne's lack of goal threat at the moment. He's just definitely just seems like someone that Haaland just seems to be the one that's hogging all the goals, and his KDB's assist potential is quite huge. And then yeah, Salah seems a bit disappointing for me. Though I'm not so sure. A 0.46 non-penalty XG seems a bit low for Salah. I'm not sure. I'm not sure like what it was like a couple of seasons ago, but that seems a bit low for me for Salah. What do you think, Jonas?
Yeah, as you mentioned, Haaland is an absolute beast. I think we haven't seen something as exciting as this in FPL in years. I know Salah has been consistent, but it just feels like Haaland can return with 3 or 4 attacking returns every single game, no matter the opponent. And to not have him in your team is criminal, in my opinion. There will be weeks where you could go against him in captaincy, but I think as all of us have endured this season thus far, is going against him in a captaincy decision and paying for it. Um, well, I'm not sure if Chad has. Yeah, Chad has a bit, not as bad, but
Not,
I've
not as
I've gone
bad
for
as me.
Salah. I've also gone for Salah previously in the season ahead of Haaland. Another thing that is quite surprising to me is that Harry Kane's expected non-penalty goals and assists is only 0.68. I think that has a lot to do with Spurs not currently being up to form. I still feel we have not been playing to our potential. I really don't think we're playing even close to our potential. I've not had that feeling the entire season. Um, the only time I probably felt like that was against Leicester, and then you do tend to ask, is it the Spurs attack that was good or the Leicester defense? And it's most likely the latter. Last night we played against Frankfurt. We got 2 shots on target in 90 minutes of football
Oh,
with
hectic.
players like Harry Kane, Perisic, Son, Richarlison on the pitch, 2 shots on target. So I don't
Not that
know
good.
yeah, I don't know what's going on because
Yeah.
if you looked at the stats of Spurs at the end of last season, uh, we were we were returning goals like it was nothing. I think we scored. We I think maybe until game week 5 or so of the season, we were still top goal scorers in the Premier League in the calendar year 2022. But it seems like now that Kulusevski is gone, the threat is not there, especially someone coming off the bench as well. Like there's no real bench option with Lucas Moura also injured. So that's on Kane. On the other assets, KDB and Salah. I've not really been a big fan of KDB ever. It's just personal preference. I prefer to go for players that has high goal scoring potential. And I think if you do have an asset above 12 million, you want to get goals because goals mean that you get more bonus points. So yeah, that's just my opinion. I think he's an incredible player, one of the best midfielders in the world, but it just doesn't fit for my way of playing to have a 12.34 million assister in your team.
But that's the thing with KDB, eh? Like just one attacking return and he's in the bonus already.
Yeah.
Like he's just that good for bonus that if he gets an assist, he'll end up on like an 8, 9 pointer.
Mm.
Yeah, I think
The
he's
thing
very
is,
consistent. He ticks along quite
Mm.
nicely. Like he's here and there he has like an absolute like a massive game week where he gets a goal, gets 2 assists, and then he's like on an 18
Yeah.
pointer. But like he's a nice consistent premium. Even with
Yeah.
Kane, like Kane's also been fairly consistent this season. I mean, he's
Yeah.
second in the race for the Golden Boot. Like okay, Ireland has doubled the amount of goals that he has, but he's still second in that race, and he does tick along
Yeah.
quite consistently. We haven't seen Kane explode the way he has done in previous seasons yet. So that is certainly something to look out for. Yeah, but like you said, Haaland is a bonus point magnet, and like you can basically get anything above 7 or 8 points in basically every game week.
just one thing that I also wanted to just mention quickly before we move on is that if you look at Kane's price compared to Salah, KDB, and Haaland, it's quite a big difference. That could, if you do go with Kane as your second premium, it could allow you to do a move elsewhere that you won't be able to. So, for instance, I'm currently on Haaland and Kane as my 2 premiums, and it's allowing me to have a Foden, Madison, and Zaha in my team, as well as 2 premium defenders. Where if you do go KDB or Salah and Haaland, I'm pretty sure you won't be able to have such a big spread of funds across your team in terms of quality players almost in every position. So yeah, just one thing to look out for as well. It's a big difference when it comes to premium 0.7,
Yeah.
0.9, and like 1.4 million price difference. It's a big difference.
Yeah,
Listen,
just for noting,
yeah.
Ireland he's scored 2 goals already in the first half of
Oh
the Champions.
wow, hectic.
So yeah,
That just proves why Alan is literally you cannot not have him in your team. The guy's
yeah,
too good. He's too good. But I still had a few things to say though on the premiums because I don't feel like we really discussed which premium is the one to go for besides Haaland. So I'm gonna kind of give my case for and against why I think this premium is a good option or not. So with KDB, why I think it is a good option is because that if City score, most likely he's going to be involved as well, and he's very good for bonus. Decent price, he's a midfield. You can switch him easily to a player like Salah or Son if you need to. The reason why I don't like KDB and why I personally wouldn't go for KDB is number one would be captaincy. Because if City plays and you want to captain a City player, most likely you're going to captain Haaland over KDB. So that just makes KDB kind of a non-captain or non-captain option in that sense, only because you always captain Haaland over and above KDB.
yeah,
Secondly, I also don't like going for KDBs because you have another option performing like a premium in the name of Phil Foden. So I think most likely people will have Cancelo and Haaland. So your third spot will either have to be another defender or someone like KDB or Foden. But for someone that's 8.1 million, and I think he has one less point than KDB at the moment. So I think he's performing like a premium. So I don't think it's definitely for me. That's why I don't think it's worth going for KDB over Foden, mainly due to the fact that Foden is also guaranteed, not guaranteed, but it's also a very likely starter to begin with also, and he also seems to be a lot of she's getting a lot of goals on the right hand side now that he's playing on the right wing. He seems to be,
yeah.
yeah, because I know last season he was much more of like an assister playing when he was playing on the left wing. But now that he's on the right wing, I feel like his goal output has increased for that especially. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Nah, I agree with you 100%. Foden, you have him for what 4.3 cheaper. It's looking really attacking down at right hand side. I mean, you have Grealish on the left, who is basically just winning fouls, holding the ball up nicely on the left hand side, and creating space for the other players. So now that Foden has switched to the right, he certainly is involved a lot more. And he's basically, if it's not going to be Haaland that scores, it's most likely going to be Foden. That's how attacking he has been this season. I also wouldn't get KDB in my team, like you said, for the captaincy. And obviously, we can only have 3 city players. A lot of managers have Cancelo already. So basically, it's an outright choice in between Haaland and, I mean, sorry, between KDB and Foden.
KDB, Foden,
And like just for the reasons that we mentioned, it's definitely a saving for me.
yeah.
Yeah. So, case closed.
Okay, so Joyce, you want to add anything on the KDB thing? Are you
Yeah, I
good?
think yeah. Last one from our side. If you do have to nominate one of those four premiums that you think is most likely to be rotated, sub, or rested, I think it's KDB as well.
Yeah,
Liverpool won't play without Salah. Spurs won't play without Kane, and as we've seen, City won't play without Haaland. We can see tonight, KDB has been rested, if I'm not mistaken, against Copenhagen. Chad, maybe you can confirm
Yeah.
that.
Even for
Um, and even Haaland is playing tonight. So anything above 10 million, if there's a risk of rotation for me, it's not. Yeah, it's not really not for me to see my premium on the bench. And we've actually seen it a few weeks ago where KDB was benched and it was captained by quite a few of the managers, especially on FPL, on Twitter. Sorry. Um, so yeah, that's also a point that makes me think it might be a bit of a risk, other than like a attacking move.
I just, Jaden, maybe I just want to add, like, before we go to the fixture, sorry, like, I think they certainly made it in owning some of the other players, especially when it comes to captaincy. So, like, especially like maybe in game week 11, City and Liverpool face off against each other. So, if you do want to go against Haaland, who does have Liverpool, Kane has Everton in game week 11 at home. So, he's
Yeah,
certainly a captaincy option for game week 11, and maybe a reason as to why you should have him in your team, even though Spurs have been sort of performing quite poorly, and Kane doesn't look as sharp as he has in previous seasons. And then for game week 12, obviously City blank, so there isn't City as an option, and then Kane plays against United, if I'm not mistaken. So then
yeah,
there you have Salah playing against West Ham in game week 12. Certainly, a lot of people are looking to target Salah for that game week, bringing him in. So there's certainly quite a few decisions that we're going to have to be making in the next 3 game weeks. We have to be sort of mindful of the game week 12 blank, but we also sort of need to target the fixture each week to kind of get the best captains in our team. So it's quite
yeah.
important that you are sort of aware of what each premium asset brings, their pros and cons, and deciding what is best for your team based on how your team looks at the moment, how it's set up, and also the type of manager that you are.
Yeah. Just one more thing. I also think, for me personally, I think Salah is the second best premium. Given that Gaming 12 and City doesn't have a fixture, he's a good captain shout for Gaming 12 when he plays against West Ham. And following Gaming 12, he also has very good fixtures. If you check the fixture ticker, Liverpool has what's it? From Gaming
What is
13, they have Forest away, Leeds at home, Tottenham away, Southampton at home. So I think that's very good fixtures to have Salah for. Whether he's worth the price at the moment is debatable. But yeah, for me personally, I would choose Salah over and above the rest of the premiums.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
last night in the UCL game, so just as a point of reference, we are recording on Wednesday evening. He looked really, really good in their game against Rangers. Looked much more attacking. He didn't play out there as wide as he has in the past couple of games. Liverpool also switched formation in that game. So it will be quite interesting to see what effect that has on Salah as well as the rest of the Liverpool teams. Rest of the Liverpool team. So yeah, I don't think he's a bad option. Like you said, even after the West Ham game, good fixtures right up until the World Cup.
Yeah.
Anything to add, Jonas?
No, I think you covered pretty much everything on that.
So just one more quick thing, just an interesting thing on what I picked up when I was watching Salah. Just an interesting stat. So I think he was late. He got like I think one or two big chances in that game, and obviously that obviously boosts his expected goals for that game. Or expected goal involvement for that game. But the thing is, it's so weird. Like if he had to score that goal, it would have been given offside. But because the linesman didn't flag it up, the shot counted, and it still increases expected goals for that game.
Yeah,
Even though if it was given as a goal, it would have been offside. I just found that very interesting.
yeah. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
obviously,
yeah.
just if you didn't know, his goal that he got was a penalty, in the
Yeah,
game, in the Champions League game.
yeah,
But he is on form. If you have a look at his last couple of games for club and countries, he looks much better than he's looked previously or earlier in the season.
yeah,
So definitely one to keep in your mind, especially for game week 12 as a captain option.
yeah.
Yeah. So what we have on screen now is basically the game week 10 fixtures. So deadline is once again Saturday. Um, I think it's at half
Half past
past
two.
two.
Yeah, half
Yeah,
past two.
So no early kickoff this week. We have had an early kickoff for quite a bit of time. So half past two and 1:30 if you're listening in the UK. So guys, is there any key fixtures that stand out for you? Anything that you'd like to look at in particular?
no, I'm good. I think we can just maybe give predictions and then we can move on. I don't think. Yeah, I think we covered like the most important part of this game week, which is premiums. I'm not sure unless you guys want to cover anything particular. I think maybe we can just give predictions and then we can move on.
Yeah, I think, or maybe we can each just nominate one game and
Yeah,
just discuss quickly, like just from the get go, interesting games that we think might have a big impact on FPL. So I'll start. I think the Bournemouth Leicester game could be an exciting game in terms of FPL. I think a lot of players might move over to Harvey Barnes now. Following, I think he also got a good return, if I'm not mistaken. Chad, maybe you can
Yeah,
confirm.
he scored in the game
Only
against.
one goal.
I think it was only a goal. I don't think there was any other involvement.
But
Yeah,
it
Last,
looked lively. It looked lively. I
yeah.
think there's a few big assets in there. As you said, there's a big choice to be made for the game week 9 wild card guys if they're going to go with Greater or go with Ward against Bournemouth, and then obviously Madison. Personally, don't see it being a runaway game. A lot of people think Bournemouth are as bad as Forest. I don't think so. So personally, I think that game. I still predict Leicester to beat, but I think it might be a close one, like a 2-1 for Leicester.
yeah,
I saw
Bournemouth is
this.
actually the sixth best home defense.
Yeah,
Um,
I saw this interesting stat that said I think Bournemouth has three clean sheets at home, which is more than United and Arsenal.
yeah, I
Sure.
think we certainly need to look at them a bit different than we
Yeah.
looked earlier in the season when they got pumped by Liverpool.
Yeah, Chad, I think you must use your one transfer on a Bournemouth defender, okay? Are you sorted for your Perisic replacement?
Yeah.
No, no, I don't know. I don't think I'm a madman. Last week maybe I was feeling a bit brave, but not this week.
But
Um,
Panty.
yeah, but Panty. I think I'll take the next one. For me, Forest Villa. Obviously, Forest got beaten 4-0 by Leicester. I think for a lot of managers, considering the Metro potential injury, potential other players not performing. A lot of people still have Leon Bailey in their team. So if you do have Leon Bailey in your team, I think this is sort of a fixture where you might decide to play him if you don't have any other options that you can play. I read up a bit about his performance over the weekend. A lot of people said he looked a bit lively. Obviously,
As
Villa is
usual.
as usual expected
Yeah.
expected lively. Um,
Expected
so
liveliness.
Expected liveliness.
so, but I mean, Villa is they just I mean they couldn't score against a 10-man Leeds, like Leeds that have been
Yeah.
so leaky this season with an extra player on the pitch. So yeah, I don't expect too much from that. But if there is certainly a fixture that you're looking to target with Bailey, if you have to, it would be the Forest fixture. Jaden?
No, I agree with you. Nothing to add on that, but I think my fixture to look forward to, besides the obvious Arsenal Liverpool game, but mine would be the Palace and Leeds game. I think that game just screams goals. Most of Leeds attackers are back, so I think they're going to play very attacking formation. And Palace is Palace. Yeah, they played like with one midfielder this past week, which was I think it was Decore and some other midfielder, but the rest was just Eze, Olise, Edward, and Zaha. So they basically had non-existent midfield. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that game. I see a lot of goals in that game, and hopefully a hat trick from Zaha.
Yeah.
Hey,
Looks
Escom,
like
let's just
Iscom came through, eh?
yeah.
Yeah, and then
Yeah,
obviously the City game. I think all of us will be licking our lips with our captain playing against City. I'm against Southampton, who might not have a manager because Hasenhuttl looks like his job is on the line. Another noting is that Haaland's been taken off at halftime. So a nice rest for him. Hopefully not an
yeah,
injury, but I just think it's a rest.
yeah.
So that was just taken off at halftime in the UCL game.
Captain locked.
Captain locked.
Captain locked. Simple.
Yeah. Anything else to add, guys? Can we move on?
We can move
The-
on.
Just one from me. I think I've got a sneaky feeling Spurs are going to struggle this weekend against Brighton away. Um, I'm not impressed with the way we've been playing recently, and what I saw during the Champions League game, what I saw of Brighton, I think Brighton pretty much favourites in that game. Probably not according to the bookies, but let me just say I'm very very stressed when it comes to that specific game. I was even when Potter was there, but now I think even a bit more. I don't think it's as straightforward as a lot of people think it will be. Um, and then obviously game of the weekend, Arsenal Liverpool. I just have a sneaky feeling Arsenal might even beat Liverpool. Um, and you don't really say that too much ahead of that game. So it should be a good one to end the weekend off. And then obviously Everton United after that. For our United boys in the house.
The comeback.
let's not talk about United.
The
Yeah, just
redemption arc.
on the Liverpool game, obviously Arsenal on a high. Liverpool, but Liverpool's also sort of on a high. Like they won the Champions League game last night. Their star boy Trent scored a worldie of a free kick. As long as Trent is lighting up the game, Liverpool fans are happy because it's probably the player people target the most in the team. But yeah, it should be a good watch for the weekend. Then moving on to captaincy, like we said earlier, hard and locked, no debate.
No
If you decide
debate.
to debate this, you're a madman.
No discussion. He's taken off at halftime. Scored 2 goals in half. Scored at 3 against United. There's literally just don't be stupid. Just go for Haaland. Literally locked.
Until you wake up tomorrow morning and read an article on Twitter that says he pulled his hamstring. What do you do then?
Yeah, just
You,
make
you,
just make sure you select a decent vice captain
yeah.
just in case something happens to him.
Yeah,
Haaland can score a hat trick with one leg. That's how good he is.
yeah. The way he uses his head in the air, I wouldn't be surprised if he
Exactly.
plays with one leg. Cool. Moving on to your team, Jaden. So like you
Oh,
said,
okay.
Captain Haaland. Do you want to walk us through your team? Any dilemmas you might have in terms of your team selection?
Yeah. So keeper is Ward. I'm starting Ward over Coyote only because Bournemouth's attack is very non-existent as well. The
And
attack is very
so
poor.
is Leicester's defense for the record, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. Yeah, Leicester's defense as well, but I mean, Bournemouth's attack is much worse. And I just expect Palace hasn't been looking that good defensively, and Leeds are a good attacking team, so I kind of expect Leeds to score that game. And then I have Trent, James, Trippier in defense, Salah, Tillemans, Madison, Zaha, vice captain, and then Mitro, Haaland, captain, and Tony. My transfer moves plan, depending on Mitro's injury, it could be Mitro to. I haven't really thought about it. Mitro to. I actually have 3 options. So I have either Mitro to someone like Wilson or maybe Isaac. That's if Mitro's injured. If Mitro's fit, I'll probably just keep him, and if Mitro's fit, I'll probably roll. But I'm also considering taking Salah out for Bowen and taking Tillemans out for Foden as a -4.
I don't like
I
that
like
move.
that. I like
Uh,
that move.
I don't like that move. Number
tell
one,
me why don't you?
you're getting rid of Salah, who has a good game week 12 fixture um,
Against West Ham.
against West Ham. Bowen
Um,
statistically doesn't look good. Like number one, he was not supposed to get that assist. That was not an assist.
yeah, okay.
And then underlying stats, he doesn't look too great. Foden, I don't argue with that part of the move, but I don't like it. Like you spent 10 days coming up with a wild card.
Yeah, that's the thing.
You've done the research. You have the reason why you
Yeah,
have Salah in your team. Now you
mm,
captain him. Haaland destroys you on that
yeah.
captaincy, and now you decide you want to sell him. Like I don't think
Um,
that's like
yeah.
it's. I think you're playing with your emotions now and not your head.
I'm actually okay. Yeah, I could be. I don't know. The thing is, the reason why I'm on that is because for me, in my head, I'm just thinking like Ireland is a perma cap. From now until game week 16, I'm a captain in most game weeks. Then not. I only not captain in game week
But
12.
not game week 12.
No,
Yeah.
listen, not game week 12, where Salah has West Ham, but in that game week, Madison has Leeds at home, which is also a very good fixture. So I'm considering permacatting Ireland and spreading my funds around. And I think for me personally, I think that someone like Foden and Bowen can outscore Tillemans and Salah, and I still have extra change.
Jonas,
That's what I,
why did you say that was
that
a good move?
Haaland.
No, I think I was more referring to the players he's looking to bring in.
Okay.
I think the Foden move is a very wise move, as discussed earlier. And then if you look at Bowen's fixtures, it's a good run of fixtures. I think, as you mentioned, you had a long time to think about it. Don't give up on Salah. I think,
Yeah,
as you said, he's been chipping away with something small every game, and it's just a matter of time before he rolls. And us non-Salah owners are going to be crying and say, "How did we ever doubt Salah?"
yeah,
Um, and it's, as I said, it's just a matter of time. I think it was the same with Sonny. where he was like there and thereabout, but just didn't work out. And then all of a sudden, like even if he scores the 2 goals against Arsenal, that's a 12, 13, possibly 15 pointer for you. And what is Salah's ownership at now? It's low, right? Or
It's
is it
low
going to go
enough.
up again?
Yeah, it's quite low. I can give you the exact amount now. It's about 31.9%. So it's still high.
31%.
It's still high, but it's relatively low to what we've seen in previous
Yeah.
seasons.
No, it's
For me, I,
extremely low actually. Like I think is like a differential in a way.
yeah. I don't know. I just don't think it's worth 13 million at the moment. And could rather easily just get someone like Bowen
So
and
so if he wasn't
and
worth 13 million, why did you put him in your wild card?
I just said captaincy. But they're not for me. I don't know. He's not looking that good. He just I don't know. He's hurt me. He's hurt me. He hurt me deep. He cut me deep, man.
I think your beef should be with Haaland and not with Salah.
Yeah, but I like I said, I'm on the Ireland perma cap count.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, I could easily get someone like Diaz who could easily match Salah.
cool.
So yeah,
Cool.
that's
Nothing
me.
else to add there, guys, on Jaydin's team? All right, cool. Then we'll move on to Jonas's team. So Jonas, you have two free transfers. You have an injured Digne on your bench and a potentially injured Mitro on your bench. You have 1 point genius Williams as well. So what are you thinking about? What are your plans for the game week and the next few?
I think if you look at my starting 11, even if I do nothing, I think I've got a good team to start with.
Yeah,
The number 11 player, or the 10th outfield player is Bailey, and he's facing Forest away, the worst defense in the league. So I think even if I only had one transfer, I could potentially go by and not do anything. But I do have two. I'm not going to burn. So my transfer is definitely going to be Luca Digne to one of three potential options. Option one will be Margay of Crystal Palace. Option two will be Castagna of Leicester. And option three will be James Justin of Leicester. This player will pretty much only be on my bench except game week 12, where I think, Chad, if you just have a look at that fixtures, can you just check who West Ham plays. Who did it? No, Palace plays in game week
Wolves.
12.
They play Wolves.
Wolves and Leicester play Leeds, right? Yes,
Yeah.
Leicester play Leeds. So I'll take a punt. I think of those three, Castagna is probably at the moment the most attacking. And if I'm playing them for 1 week only, it will probably be uh, for going for a player like Castagna for the potential attacking returns. Um, and then the upside of that is I get zero point 0.3 that I saved for the Digne transfer. So I can use that zero point 0.3. If I go down um, from Digne to Margay or Justin, I've got exact money to go up from Mitro to Tony. So that's also something I'm looking at. So it could come down to zero point 0.1. And if I do hear something about Micho being injured, I'm pretty sure I'm going to go Micho to Tony and Digne to Margay for my two free chances, but ideally just the one, taking Digne out.
Jonas, how much do you have in the bank? 0.
0.00.
And
Yeah.
how much is Dean?
One
How
4.7.
4.7. Chance go to the fixture
4.7.
ticker.
Wait,
I
who do you have in mind
personally,
now?
I know it's a bit boring, but I would go for Ben White. Reason being, because it's going to be a bench option most likely. You're not going to play players like you're not going to play Gay or Justin or whatever. Firstly, Arsenal defense very good. I think one of the top in the league, top three defense in the league, if I'm not mistaken. And if you look at Newcastle's fixtures, it rotates
Mhm.
very well with Trippier. So when he has United away, Trippier, Arsenal has Leeds away. Then when Trippier has Tottenham away, Arsenal has Southampton away. And then when he has Chelsea at home, Arsenal has Wolves away.
The only problem
Jaden,
with that,
who,
the only problem with
Ja-
that is in game week 12 he's blanking, and like I said earlier, he has 12 city players, so now he's already down to 10. And then I don't think Trippier is benchable in any fixture, to be honest. Like he's literally on everything. He can get a goal involvement even if they concede. So like, I mean, it's not a gamble in the sense that it's a gamble benching the likes of Trent or Cancelo, but like in terms of potential output, he certainly has, like he's on those players levels.
Yeah,
Jonnas,
Jaydin. Yeah. So the player I'm bringing in for Dinia has to start in game
Oh,
week
okay, can be
12.
12.
So,
Okay.
yeah. So because I'm not taking Cancelo out, I'm not taking Haaland out,
Yeah.
and either Foden or Martinelli is staying. One will
Okay.
go, one will stay. So I need to
Yeah.
get a player that will start the game week 12 games. So that's my biggest dilemma. I don't care
Yes.
about the rest of the games. Will be on the
Yeah.
bench. So it's pretty much a
Okay.
1 week only game.
Then go for someone who has the best can be 12 fixture with the best attacking output.
Yeah, I think we just want to have a look at the other fixtures.
I mean, while
Might
Jonas takes a look at that, like some people were also considering Fofana. He actually scored tonight in the Champions League, but he also came off injured on the 38th minute. So
Oh
I don't
wow.
think he's an option now
Yeah.
because he was also 4.4, but he's obviously potentially injured. In terms of base game week 12, in terms of clean sheet and potentially attacking, I like uh, Leicester as well. So maybe for my team, Jonas, did you have a look? Do you have something in mind or do you need some more time?
no,
Brian
I've got a pretty good idea
Okay, yeah.
Brighton
of play.
plays home to Forest as well. Can be
Might be
12.
an off shot to
Maybe.
bring Martinelli to Trossard,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Or
that's
and
or 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 Dean to dunk or
yeah,
Stupinan.
yeah. The only thing with the Brighton play is that they play City and Chelsea after that. Uh,
Yeah.
you don't want to sit with a 6.7 or so player on the bench. But
mm.
I'll still have a look at it. But as I said, my two, probably if I have to choose between three now, it's Gay or either one of the Leicester defenders in Justin and Castagna.
What about potentially bringing another Newcastle defender? Do you think that's an option or not? Like someone like Shaw?
No, I'm actually considering. I've actually thought today of taking out Pope. I don't know, and
Oh,
you won't.
for
Yeah, you think I'm. You might think I'm crazy. Actually,
Forward.
I was thinking. No, I actually was. I like the look of the Bournemouth goalkeeper Neto.
Oh,
He's been doing quite well. He's been getting save points. They've got Leicester, Fulham, Southampton. Okay, then two tougher fixtures and end off with Leeds and Everton. And like everyone said, Pope is the next big thing, and he got 2 points in two consecutive games against Bournemouth and Fulham to promote a team. So like, there's no guarantees with goalkeepers in this league. There's no guarantees with clean sheets. The best team can score against, or the worst team can score against the best team. It's just how it works. So I think you just have to risk it, and if it pays off, it pays off. If it doesn't, it just doesn't.
yeah.
cool. So I think we can move on to my team. So my team is up on the screen now. Also have two transfers this week. So if you look at the team currently, I mean, a lot of my moves is dependent on the Mitra injury because of the amount of money I have in the bank. So if Mitra is out for 3 to 4 game weeks, it's probably going to be Mitra to someone like Callum Wilson. But if not, I think the next player on my chopping block will definitely be Perisic. I think if Mitro is good to play, I think I'll take Perisic out and I'll bring in either Castagna or Justin. Castagna especially looked really good in that list game. He was quite attacking, was very good interplay with Madison on the right hand side, and he got in quite a few attacking positions. So if he can stay fit, I know he's been quite injury prone in the previous couple of seasons. That'll be great. So yeah, either one of the two Leicester boys, or the other option is someone like a Fofana was on my radar, but like I said before, he is injured now. But yeah, there's a quite a bit of options for me in my team. Like I can if I because of the amount of money I have in the bank as well, if I downgrade Perisic, I can upgrade Bailey to like a Bonds. Um, so it all depends on sort of where I want to shift my team in for the couple of game weeks. But like I said, I have a close eye on the game week 12 blank. The plan is to have my three City boys on the bench and having a full 11. So my moves that I make in the next two game weeks kind of dictate that. I'm also hoping to only make one transfer this week, like we've seen in game week 9. Injuries to key players in our teams can pop up out of nowhere. So it's kind of
Yeah.
important to keep that as much transfers that in the bank as you can, sort of as a safety net. Do you guys have any advice? What did you guys do if you were in my position?
I'll do the same. If Mitre is fit, play him and then take out Perisic for, I don't know, Castagne, Justin, or the option that Jonas mentioned. Maybe even an Arsenal defender. And yeah, that's about it.
Would you play a safe move like that, or would you downgrade Perisic and upgrade Bailey to someone that has like maybe even a Trossard? Because I think I can afford Trossard as well. Like he scored a hat trick in the cup in the past game week 9. He has Forrest in game week 12, who's potentially the best captain on paper, even like potentially a better captain than
Yeah,
Salah.
yeah. You
So
could
that's
do
kind of
that,
like
yeah.
yeah.
But then you'd have to think about, do you feel comfortable selling Bailey before Forest away?
I mean, we're talking about Leon Bailey and not fucking
Yeah. I
Salah.
mean, it's ex lively, man. Come on.
It's
What
same
more can
same
you
mix
ask for?
lively, but yeah, the output is
Yeah,
different levels.
true. I
Chad,
don't know.
I'd tell you honestly, I'd get rid of Perisic.
Yeah,
Um,
and then
you
say the
have
other
to you
transfer.
have to you have to ask yourself what is the possibility of a Spurs clean sheet before anything else. It doesn't look likely in the next few game weeks. Then you have to ask yourself what's the possibility of rotation with Emerson now out, and Champions League doesn't look good for Perisic. And then also Spurs as a whole, we are not looking attacking. Sonny starting again, so Perisic not on all corners. I just think it logically makes sense to upgrade your fourth midfielder and bring Perisic down because ultimately you're not going to bench either of your back three. You're not going to
Yeah,
bench either of your front three, except if like Mitro's injured. So you might as well downgrade Perisic, and you can make a big upgrade. If you take Perisic down to like 4.3, I think Perisic is 5.6 now, and you've
yeah.
got like 1.3 in return. You could
And
upgrade
I
Bailey.
think I have 1.2 in the bank as well. So that's why I'm able to afford. I think I have
Yeah.
7.1 to spend if I go for like a stand year. That's quite
Yeah,
good.
you can do quite a bit. Um, and I think, as I mentioned earlier, like I think the midfield players are coming through, and they're looking good at the moment. You can even go, Perisic to Margay, for instance. You know you've got a solid, definite 90 minutes again in game week 12. You could even go for Madison for Harvey Barnes. I think you might be able to afford him in Bailey's
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, I think for me
Um,
the decision is basically like, do I just make the one transfer? In other words, get Perisic down to the defender and leave Bailey against that Forest fixture, which looks quite lovely, or do I just like upgrade Bailey to like Trossard? Because I mean Trossard on the left hand side playing against potentially, I think it will probably be Doherty, right, on the
yeah,
right.
I think it will be Perisic. I think Sessignon will go to the left and Perisic on the right.
But I mean, even
Personally,
Perisic, with like, he doesn't have the legs. I think for the Prem, like coming up against Trossard, Romero doesn't look on the in form
the
on
thing
that.
is, Brighton's fixtures don't look good. Like I
I
know
mean,
they've had a good result.
they have Spurs in game week 10, they have Brentford in game week 11, and then they have Forest in game week 12. Like those aren't the worst fixtures to be honest. And like
Yeah,
Trossard does look,
that's
he looks
true.
quite good under De Zerbi than he looked under Potter, because he's no longer playing as a left wing back. He's actually playing as a left winger now, and he plays quite close to the striker as well.
And after that, who they have then?
They have City, Chelsea, and then Wolves and Villa.
But you can take him
So
out for
that,
Martinelli.
Yeah, then I
yeah,
can take him out for Martinelli. Like It's basically a
I
three.
think I think if you yeah I think if you go for Trossard and you say to yourself, I'm keeping in for 3 weeks, that's it. Then 100% I'd say go for it. But if you're looking for someone to keep until the end, I'd say go for Harvey Barnes. But I don't see Harvey Barnes scoring a hat trick or a brace. But
Yeah,
as we see on the weekend, Trossard has quite a high ceiling, and it looks like he might be the new talisman of Brighton. I know it's just one game, and we always get carried away after one game with a new manager. That's just the nature of like just
FPL.
football fans in general, but also FPL. You overanalyze and you think they're going to be brilliant. But I mean, you don't go to Anfield and get 3 goals, like no
Yeah,
matter who you are, just because you were lucky. So um, yeah, I'd say just if I was you, I'd just downgrade Perisic this week. Play Bailey because he has a good fixture, and or you could even consider, let's say, whoever you bring in for Perisic, put him in the defender and put Bailey first on the bench. Monitor the Mitro situation. So if you do need to act next week, you can even use that funds and two of your transfers to
yeah,
get Mitro out and use the funds that you freed up with Perisic. Um,
yeah. So the other
Chad,
problem with bringing Bonds is that I can't bring in Castagna because you can only have three Leicester players. Obviously, I have Everson as well.
oh
So
yeah,
that's
that's true.
Chad,
yeah.
go the aggressive route. I said go the aggressive route. I know you want to. I'll do that move personally. I'll maybe upgrade. Thing is, which midfield do you like? Would you like Trossard or Barnes? Who you think would outscore each other in the
You
next
know, you
three?
know, you know. Bonds is my villain
Uh,
asset. Like
then go,
you
dude.
don't
It's
have
your
to
Go
think about.
Barnes.
kryptonite.
It's
Yeah,
my kryptonite.
Barnes has Bournemouth, Palace, and Leeds. I think. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, then go Barnes and Gay. Literally, I'll do that. Or you can go Justin and Trossard. Yeah, do it, dude.
I think either way,
Yeah,
it's not bad moves. It's attacking. Like I'm top 4K. I mean, like a lot of people want to hold
Okay,
rank. I'm not
okay.
bragging.
Side
I'm
flick,
not bragging, but
flick, subtle flicks.
like
no, you
it would be
should
nice.
you should brag, bro. That's you should take credit where it's due. It's like
Yeah,
I've never been there or thereabout, so I'd be buzzing now if I was in top 4K.
and I,
But you don't have to be aggressive, bro. You don't have to kill yourself and make stupid moves now. I'm not saying it's
Yeah,
a stupid move, but like,
in nature, I'm an aggressive FPL
that's
manager.
what I
Like
say. I play your game, dude.
yeah.
yeah, go for Solanke. Go for Solanke in the first place.
No, it would be nice.
Please
It would be
do.
nice. It would be nice to like bring Trossard in. Brighton and Roll Spurs over the next week. I'm sitting here with a 3-digit rank. Like that would be nice.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I don't know
True.
if you guys have anything else to add, but I think we kind of gonna wrap up the pod now. So once again, thanks guys so much for listening. We'd really appreciate if you sort of engage with us on Twitter, like and follow on YouTube, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We really appreciate it. Also, please, like, if you're able to give us as much feedbacks in the comment section as you can, as well as on our tweets on Twitter, we really appreciate that. Anything from you guys?
Yeah, from my side, thanks for joining in, guys. It's getting a regular thing now, and I think my co Chad and Jaydin are enjoying it a lot more. Than the first episode. It was a bit stressful. The nerves are gone now, and it's more
Yeah.
relaxed, which is a good thing. But as Chad mentioned, if you guys could please just subscribe and like and share our content. We're doing this for because we enjoy it. It's not for any like remuneration where we get paid or something. Obviously not. It's just for the fun of it. But obviously, if we do spend the time that we do on this, we'd like to reach as many as possible people. So if you could subscribe, even just send it to a fellow friend on Twitter. It will definitely help the channel grow, and then hopefully we could reach more people in the coming weeks, heading into the World Cup.
Yeah. And from my side, yeah, just follow, like, subscribe, check us out on Twitter, do everything. And for those that already have done it, we appreciate the support. We appreciate all the likes, all the comments, all the follow backs. We really do appreciate it. We're still starting out, so yeah, we're getting the hang of things, and yeah, man, we'll definitely improve. But yeah, for those that have supported us so far, we really do appreciate it.
Cool. Thanks, guys. Keep well. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.